Welcome to the 12th election in American history. It occurred in 1832 from November 2nd up to December 5th. America changed a lot since incumbent Andrew Jackson became president. Starting with Jackson's inauguration, over 20,000 people from throughout the nation attended. Jackson took office in front of the masses, with them cheering for their common man president. The crowd, out of excitement to shake hands with Jackson, would trample everything in their way, causing mayhem. One of the very first things Andrew Jackson did was take action against the Native Americans. Jackson signed the Indian Removal Act in 1830. This would be a sad and dark time in American history, which would force natives out of their ancestral homelands and move them to areas west of the Mississippi. And in 1832, in the landmark Supreme Court case Worcester v. Georgia, Scotus and John Marshall, the Chief Justice, sided with the natives, saying states could not impose regulations on Native American land. But Jackson, being Andrew Jackson, straight up said nope and ignored the ruling. This decision would have many sad and depressing effects upon Native Americans. They would be forced to leave their homes forever, having to walk thousands of miles to a new place, and many would die on this treacherous journey. And this would be one of the worst parts of Andrew Jackson's legacy. Furthermore, Jackson supported the spoils system, meaning he put his own supporters into office, even if they weren't qualified. Also, there were new parties in this election: the Anti-Mason Party, or the Anti-Masonic Party, the first major third party in US history who opposed Freemasons. They believed Freemasons were a major threat to American democracy and to the world. They actually held the first ever National Party convention in American history on September 1831 in Maryland. There was also the Nullifier Party, former Jackson supporters who turned on Jackson in 1828 post-election. This was because he did not get rid of the Tariff of Abomination. They supported slavery and states' rights. Meanwhile, Jackson dealt with a major problem because of the Petticoat Affair. Mrs. Calhoun, wife of the vice president, gossiped about the new wife of Secretary of War John Eaton, named Peggy. Mrs. Calhoun, like a Karen, said Peggy was not fit to be a cabinet wife. Things got so bad the cabinet chemistry was destroyed. Almost all members resigned, except for one, Postmaster General William Barry, who sided with Peggy. Jackson reorganized his cabinet, but he would not use it either way, since he would rely on his kitchen cabinet, a group of friends and colleagues who advised him. For example, they told him not to veto the renewal of the Second National Bank, but he went through with it. He hated the banks because he believed the banks favored the rich and the elite. He also addressed the tariff issue via the Tariff of 1832 that reduced the tariff, but the South was still not satisfied. Fun fact, this new tariff was created by former president turned House Representative Quincy Adams, while relations between President Jackson and Vice President Calhoun became catastrophic. The breaking point was when Calhoun casted a tie-breaking vote against Jackson's nomination of Van Buren to become the minister to Great Britain. Calhoun did this to try to kill the political career of Van Buren, but Calhoun was mistaken, and many Jackson fans applauded Van Buren. His rise would only start. Vice President Calhoun resigned in December 1832 because of his disagreements with Jackson, leaving the job vacant for 66 days. Van Buren became the new vice president nominee by the Democrats alongside President Jackson. The Democrats held their first ever national convention in May 1832 within Baltimore, Maryland. The National Republicans nominated Henry Clay and John Sargent as his running mate. Sargent, who was a House representative from the state of Pennsylvania. The National Republicans held their first ever national convention in Maryland in 1831. Fun fact, Quincy wanted to run as the anti-Masonic candidate, but party leaders rejected him due to his unpopularity. Instead, the anti-Masonics / anti-Masons nominated William Wirt and Amos Ulmaker as his running mate. Wirt, ironically a former Freemason and U.S. Attorney General. Ulmaker was the former Pennsylvania Attorney General. Nullifiers nominated John Floyd and Henry Lee as his running mate. Floyd, the governor of Virginia, while Henry Lee was a merchant. And the winner was Andrew Jackson won, staying as the 7th president in American history. Jackson won big with 219 electoral votes and won many states in this election. And Martin Van Buren became the 8th vice president in American history. Clay and the National Republicans got 49 electoral votes. Nullifiers won 11 electoral votes from South Carolina, while the Anti-Masons won 7 electoral votes from Vermont. This was a unique election and had the first third party in US history, and showed how popular Jackson was. In the Senate, the Democrats had the most senators, winning 24 out of the 48 seats, but 25 was required for a majority. For the House, the Democrats expanded their majority, winning 128 seats, 7 over the threshold. Andrew Stevenson, a Southern Democrat, kept his role as Speaker of the House. Jackson took his second oath of office on Monday, March 4th, 1833, in the House chamber of the Capitol. America would continue on its path, with Jackson leading it, and thus the 12th election in American history came to an end. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Stay tuned for the next video.